Picture a body just straight up filing for early retirement. Imagine a guy named Rohan. He wakes up feeling like his own immune system has personally filed a formal complaint against him overnight. We're talking a severe fever, a throat that literally feels like it's made of sandpaper, and the kind of pounding headache where even a single ray of sunlight peeking through the blinds feels like a direct personal insult.
I mean, every reasonable cell in his body is screaming one very clear message: stay in bed. And normally, he absolutely would. He's got plenty of his own mess going on in the background. There's a manager at work who treats completely standard deadlines like high-stakes hostage negotiations, a slow-burning family drama at home, and now a physical body that is just clearly done with all of it. He has perfectly legitimate reasons to switch that phone to silent, pull the heavy blanket over his head, and let the world spin without him for a day.
But then we get to decoding the hidden message. Just 3 words that completely change the day. Now, what's really interesting about this is how it happens. In that quiet, darkened bedroom, his phone screen lights up with this soft, almost cinematic glow. A notification pops up. It's from his friend Karan. And it's not a dramatic SOS or anything. It's literally just 3 simple words. You up yet? On the surface, this is just your standard, everyday morning check-in. But it's the context and what comes exactly 1 minute later that changes the entire trajectory of the day. No worries if not. That follow-up text, that is the real giveaway. It is the absolute hallmark of someone who is actually not fine at all, but is trying very, very hard to sound like he is. It's meant to seem casual and breezy, but man, it completely betrays the quiet anxiety just sitting there behind the screen.
So what does no worries actually mean here? See, Rohan knows Karan has been struggling lately. It's a quiet struggle, right? Not the kind with visible, flashing warning signs. Karan still shows up to work every day, still replies to the group chat with the occasional funny meme, and still says, "I'm good, Yar," running on pure autopilot whenever anyone asks how he is. But Rohan knows his friend well enough to read between the lines. He knows "you up yet" wasn't actually a question about sleep. Karan was quietly, subtly checking if anyone would actually show up for him today.
Which brings us to the reluctant commute. It's this slightly heroic, mildly ridiculous choice. Understanding that unspoken plea, Rohan makes the deeply irrational choice that real friendship demands. He decides he can't stay in bed.
So he forces himself up, downs a highly suspicious, arguably reckless amount of cold medicine, and wraps this thick scarf around his neck like he's suddenly auditioning for a period drama. He drags himself out the door and into the morning commute. He's got this disheveled but determined expression, looking exactly like a guy who has recently lost a fight with a mild flu, and, let's be honest, probably lost his dignity along with it.
Then we shift to the unspoken office support. The scene changes from that cold, miserable commute to the warmer, buzzing environment of their office. Karan looks up from his desk and sees Rohan approaching, looking, well, more tired than the living.
Karan takes one look at him and immediately calls him out. He laughs quietly and goes, "Bro, you look like a ghost that's also somehow more tired than the living." And Rohan, whose voice now sounds like a poorly tuned car radio, just croaks back, "Thanks, I try." They walk over to the break room and grab some of that terrible, lukewarm office coffee that neither of them actually even likes. As they sit there, they don't dive into deep emotional territory. They talk about work stress, the latest cricket match, and Karan's objectively terrible taste in shoes. The humor is dry, the body language is relaxed, genuine shared laughs. But underneath all this casual banter, something incredibly sincere is happening. Karan is being heard. He isn't being analyzed, he isn't being fixed, nobody is handing him a pre-packaged motivational quote. He's just being heard by someone who cared enough to drag himself to work sick, rather than just firing off her "thinking of you" text from the warmth of his bed. And this brilliantly illustrates how the weight feels lighter. It's not fixed, just carried together. The tone of their interaction subtly shifts as the afternoon wears on, and those sharp, anxious edges of Karan's morning really start to dull. Look, obviously, nobody's problems vanish in a single conversation. That's just not how life works. But by the end of the workday, Karan visibly looks lighter. It's that profound physical relief you get when a heavy burden suddenly feels manageable, just because someone else quietly agreed to help carry it for a few hours. And Rohan? Well, he's still exhausted. He's still very, very sick. But as he packs his bag to head home, he feels this steady, quiet satisfaction that entirely outweighs his flu symptoms. He knows he showed up when it actually mattered, instead of just when it was convenient.
Which brings us to the true measure of friendship, showing up when it actually matters. It forces us to zoom out and really look at what connection means when the chips are down. We are constantly sold this Hollywood version of what friendship is supposed to look like, right? We're conditioned to think it requires these big cinematic gestures, dramatic late-night rescues, or tearful, rain-soaked speeches. But the beautiful, unglamorous reality, it's entirely different. Most of the time, the people who truly matter in our lives aren't asking for a grand gesture at all. They're just hoping somebody notices their hidden struggles. True connection is often just a fevered, croaky-voiced guy in an overly dramatic scarf choosing connection over his own comfort. So, the crucial point is this. At the end of the day, real, enduring friendship isn't measured by how much fun you have when life is perfect. It's measured by who still shows up, scarf and all, when things aren't fine. It's about being the person who recognizes that a casual, no worries if not, is actually a quiet plea for company, and deciding to act on it. Which leaves us with a thought to carry forward today. Think about the people in your own orbit. If someone in your life, right now, sends you a quiet, half-hearted, "you up yet?" today, will you just send a polite text back? Or will you put your shoes on, step out the door, and go be their Rohan?